you're not going to believe this. Jimin has just done something the world thought was impossible. He didn't just break a record, he broke BTS's own record. And not as part of the group, but standing alone, with only his voice, his music, and his story. Just let that sink in. For years, BTS has been the symbol of K-pop dominance on the global stage, breaking charts, selling out stadiums, and rewriting music history. They were untouchable. But now, one of their own has done something even they couldn't do, becoming the most streamed K-pop artist in US Spotify history. According to the official US Spotify charts, Jimin has now reached 546 million total streams on the US platform. That's more than BTS's already massive record of 545 million. One man, one dream, and now a new crown. And at the heart of this achievement is a song that's become almost legendary. Who? This isn't just another single, it's a cultural moment. The title track from his second solo album, MUSE, has racked up an astonishing 386.94 million filtered streams, making it the most streamed K-pop song ever on the US Spotify chart. But here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. Who didn't need a big-name Western collaboration to climb the charts? There was no superstar feature to boost it. It was just Jimin, his raw vocals, his artistry, his emotions, and the love of millions of listeners who couldn't stop hitting play. That's how it hit #1 on the US Spotify Daily Top Songs chart, making him the first and still the only solo K-pop artist to ever do it. The success didn't stop at the song. The album MUSE itself is rewriting history. It's the first and only K-pop album to cross 400 million streams on the US Spotify chart. It's also the first solo K-pop album to remain 48 consecutive days on the US Top Albums chart. Proof that this wasn't a one-week wonder, but a lasting force. And if you think that's impressive, listen to this. Who has stayed on the US Daily Top Songs chart for 373 consecutive days? That's an entire year. Every single day, people in the US have been pressing play on Jimin's song. And that's after its release, not during a hype wave. That's pure staying power. It's almost poetic. From a boy in Busan who once doubted if he had what it takes, to the man who now sits at the very top of one of the biggest music platforms in the world. Jimin's journey is not just about music. It's about resilience, belief, and the courage to step out of the shadow of the biggest boy band in history, and still shine even brighter. When he stood on stage for MUSE, when he recorded Who, when he poured his emotions into every lyric, he probably didn't know it would take him here. But today, the numbers speak louder than any headline. Jimin is not just part of history, he is history. And something tells me this is only the beginning.